Hi, I'm going to show you how to make my sourdough bread. So this is my leaven that I made last night before I went to bed around 11 p.m. So first I'm going to add, 700 grams of this lukewarm tap water between 90 and 95 degrees Fahrenheit. So it is about 4 cups. Okay, still went a little bit over. Okay, now I'm going to make sure my leaven's ripe and ready to be used to make my bread. So if this floats, it's ready. If it does not float in the water, I've waited too long. And it does float. So I'm adding about 200 grams of my leaven from my active sourdough starter that I made last night. Okay, I'm going to zero out my scale. And to this water and leaven, I'm going to add 900 grams of regular all-purpose flour. And I'm going to mix my all-purpose flour with einkorn version, which is just delicious. So I did 300 of this, and now I'll do 600 of this all-purpose flour. It's just a little nuttier. Okay, less in gluten as well. Okay, and then I'll add 100 grams of my organic bread flour. Okay, voila. Okay, then I'm going to mix it up for about 2 minutes. Okay, so I'm going to let this go for 2 minutes. See you in a bit. Okay, it's been 2 minutes, so now I'm just going to cover it anywhere from 30 minutes to 4 hours for the autolyse phase, so the starter and the flour and the water can get well mixed. Okay. Okay, it's been about an hour since I mixed my dough, so now I'm going to add the salt. I'm going to add 20 grams of salt. I'm going to zero out my scale. Turn it to grams. And about 20 grams. And if it goes a little over, it's okay. I love salt. Okay, so I'm going to add the salt right in here. And I'm going to turn the mixer on for another 2 minutes. Just easy pace, easy tempo. And then an additional 2 minutes when I up the tempo a little bit. Okay, see you in a bit. Okay, it's been going 2 minutes with this nice tempo. I'm going to amp it up. 2 more minutes. See you in a bit. Okay, it's been about 2 minutes at this amped up speed, so that's enough mixing. So 4 minutes total. Now I'm going to transfer my dough into this big bowl here. To do that, I'm first going to coat this bowl with some olive oil. And this is just so it doesn't get overly sticky. And when I remove it eventually from this bowl after my folding process, it won't stick so much. So I'm gonna get it all nice in this bowl. And I'm gonna rub my hands in this oil to help me take the dough off of out of the bowl here and transfer. Okay. So here you have it. Here's my bowl. And I'm just gonna use my dough scraper to transfer my loveliness into this bowl here. And voila, looks beautiful. Okay, we'll see this rise over the next several hours. So I'm going to cover it up for now, let it rest for 30 minutes, and I'll be back for my first fold. Okay, here I am for my first folding. So here's my dough, looking pretty good. No bubbles yet. So So here we go. I'm gonna lift and fold. I have clean, wet hands. Yes, Pepper? Okay, keep folding. It's sticky dough. So make sure your hands are wet. I should have wetted mine a little bit more. That's right, Pepper. You have to wash your hands with soap. That's very right. Okay, so I'm just gonna fold it like so. And then I'm just gonna pick it up. You don't have to do this. And turn it around. And just I do this little rounding process. Okay. So here we go. I'm going to put the lid back on and let it rest 30 minutes. See you in a bit. So here I'm back for my second fold. As you see, little bubbles starting, a little more fluffy on top. So I'm just gonna grab it and fold it across the midline. It's a little more delicate dough with the einkorn flour that I use with less gluten, but it's still coming together quite nicely. I've done one loaf where I just used all einkorn, and that was a bit, well, it didn't get that cohesive, I'll just say that. I'm gonna flip it around a little bit. Oh, maybe I shouldn't have done that. I'm gonna wet my hands once more, and I'm just gonna do a little rounding here, just to bring the dough together. There we go, this is looking much better now. The einkorn flour is just a lot nuttier, and it's just delicious. But with the less gluten in it, there's less to break down in the sourdough making process, so it's not as cohesive. Okay, see you in a minute. Okay, I'm back here for my last and final third folding for this loaf. So here you see bubbles are forming. It looks nice and plump on top. This is my einkorn dough. So I'm gonna lift and fold. Yes, go. My last and final fold. Sticky stuff. And then I'm gonna lift it, see if I can lift it, barely, flip it, and then I'll do my last little rounding technique. Make it all cohesive. And voila. There you see it. I'll let it be for 3 hours for the bulk fermentation. I'll see you then. Bye. Okay, I'm back. My dough here has been fermenting now for 3 hours for the bulk fermentation. It looks pretty nice. It's fluffed up nicely, so you see a lot of bubbles and it looks nice and fluffy on top. So my next process, I'm going to take it out and divide it into 2 separate loaves and round it. I'll let it rest for about 20 minutes, and then I'll place it in my bread baskets to proof overnight before I bake it tomorrow morning. I want a well-floured surface, my hands as well, so the dough won't stick to me. And I'm just gonna go ahead and carefully take my dough out using my dough scraper. Looks beautiful. And again, this is with my einkorn flour. So it's less gluten and it's still fluffed up quite nicely, I must say. Okay, this is a nice big blob. So let me divide this into 2. Put some good flour around. I'm just estimating here. 1, 2, and voila. I'm going to go ahead and take my dough. Make sure it's well floured. That's key. You need a lot of flour so it doesn't stick. I'm going to take one of my halves and just do a simple rounding technique. I just grab 2 ends, one with my hand, one with the dough scraper. Gently lift and turn. Again, it will get stick to you if you don't have enough flour. And that looks pretty good. So I'll do the next one. I'm just add a little bit more flour here so it doesn't stick. Oh, and try. See, there it went. Got me. So I'm going to try to get a little more flour there. A little more flour here. There we go. I'm just going to sort of tuck in the sides, round it up. And that looks pretty good. Et voila. And I have a beautiful rainbow towel here. I'm just going to cover for the next 20 minutes and I'll be back to fold it once more into my bread baskets. Okay, I'm back for the final folding and to put it in my bread baskets to proof overnight before I bake the loaves. So I just finished my rounding process. The gluten has settled. So now I'm going to make sure I have well-floured hands, well-floured dough. It's also good as well. And I'll do my final fold into the basket. Okay, so I'll take my first one here, the one behind. Oops, that's sort of connected there. So I'm just gonna lift one end, fold it over, put the side end, fold it over. Reflour my hands. Here's the third end and then the fourth. And then I'll take the corners and tuck those in. 2, 3, and a 4. Oopsie, it's a sticky dough scraper. Lift it up and turn it over. That's sort of a messy one. I'm gonna reflour so it doesn't stick to my hand. And I'm gonna use my hand and my dough scraper. Actually, I've used both my hands, I think, for this process. And I'm just going to sort of turn it clockwise, grab it gently on all sides, and turn it and drag it along my surface of my countertop. Okay. Sort of some fragile dough, this einkorn flour. It's not doing a really good job sticking, but you see it's really fluffing up there for me. That's nice. Okay. I'd like it to get it some traction on the countertop, but it's not willing to do that for me today. There we go. Now it's starting to drag a little bit. That's nice. It's starting to get really sticky, so I have to keep flouring my hands. And I'll do 2 more times. 1, and that's nice and cohesive. Okay, I put parchment flour in my proofing basket just for the ease of transition. So I'm going to pick up my dough and gently place it in the parchment flour. There's really no need to flour the parchment paper. It should come off, hopefully, fingers crossed. So there's one. Okay, loaf number 2, here we go. I'll keep that out. Well-floured hands. And here we go. One end, second end, third end. Doesn't have to look pretty. Fourth end. This is really sticky dough too. The less gluten in the flour, the harder this will be. Okay, so gluten helps to stick. That's why we don't want it. Don't want to eat a lot of it because we don't want all that stuff sticking to our intestinal walls. I'll flip that over. Okay, I'm gonna again flour my hands over here and give it a nice turn and drag. Okay, just a few more times. I'm gonna reflour my hands. Can't have enough flour. And I'll do 5 more times. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay. And then I'll take my bread basket, sneak this dough ball inside, and voila, I did it. So here we go. It's going in the fridge overnight, and then tomorrow morning I'll turn on the oven, 500 degrees, and voila, we'll see how it turns out. See you tomorrow. Okay, we're back. It is the morning of the following day after I put my bread in the refrigerator to proof overnight. So here they are. I have one that is regular all-purpose organic flour and one that I use einkorn flour with, and you'll see that the einkorn did not raise as much. So that's right. So the process to do this, to put them in the oven, is first I have my parchment paper. I'll do one at a time. And I'm choosing hemp seeds today, although you can do any bottom corn flour or pumpkin seeds or sesame seeds or whatever. Sunflower seeds. I'm using hemp seeds today. It's a nice sort of crust. So I just sort of sprinkle that in the middle. And then I'll use my regular flour first. And I'm just going to flip it carefully onto that. Et voila. And then I'm going to put that aside for a second. You'll see how different my einkorn flour one is. Again, einkorn flour it's reduced gluten. It's probably better for you, but because it's reduced gluten, the flour, there's less to break down with the sourdough, so it doesn't rise as much. Okay. And here we have it. I put it in parchment paper just to make it ease of transition. It's a little heavier than the regular flour. There you go. So you'll notice it's a lot flatter, but it's still going to be delicious. Et voila. So there you have it. So it rose a little bit in the refrigerator last night, but not as much as my regular flour. Okay, so I'll place these two here. I've had the oven on at 500 degrees Fahrenheit for the past 2 hours this morning to heat it up with my Dutch oven with a lid on. So I'm going to transfer those out so I can place these in. Be patient with me. Okay. Trying not to escape the heat. I'm going to close the oven door to preserve the heat. Okay, and then I'll do one at a time. Okay, then I grab it with the parchment paper, voila, and carefully place it inside. Put the lid on. This one goes next, that's right, Pepper. So this is my einkorn one. Place it. Et voila. I'm gonna put the lid back on. Put both mittens back on. It is hot. Open the door, and as quickly as possible, I'll slide the Dutch oven back in. Okay. Whew, and there you have it. 30 minutes at 500 degrees with the lid on. And then I will take the lid off for an additional 20 minutes at 500 degrees. And you can always go more or less depending on your oven. All right, see you in a bit. Regular dough. Okay, it's been in for about 20 minutes with the lid off and 30 minutes with the lid on. Okay, let's see how it's doing. Turn that timer off. Oh, looks pretty good. Looks perfect. Perfect. Perfectly golden crust. Okay. All right. So loaf number one, this is with regular flour. Here, I'll show like so. Looks pretty good.
Can I see it?
Yeah, you can see it, Pepper. And then loaf number two. Actually, the einkorn flour loaf rose almost about the same as the regular loaf. So there's the top of the einkorn flour. Looks gorgeous, beautiful. Well, hopefully you enjoy this video. Okay, good luck baking. Let me reach out with any questions. Have a great day. Pepper, look. Everyone's hungry, Pepper. Just throw it at the ducky, Pepper. Go get it.
I think they ate it.
Yes, they do.
I think they ate the waffle too.
Do you want to see them the waffle too?